a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, delayed but not denied. I am here with the one and only Antoine Allen of Antoine Allen Films. Uh, Good brother. I've known this brother for quite a few years. Actually met him at my award show initially, the Philadelphia Independent Film Awards a few years ago, because he had a film that was nominated in our film festival, and he's going on to do some absolutely amazing things. If I gave you the rundown, we would be here all day. So we're just going to jump right into this thing, and I'm going to welcome the one and only Mr. Antoine Allen of Antoine Allen Films to a conversation with Mr. Allen. How you doing, my brother?
How you doing, man? Thank you for having me. We haven't spoken in a long time, so we got a lot to talk about.
It's been a minute. You've been up to a lot of stuff. Producing your own films, and being a producer on other people's projects. Landy Maduro, working with her, who's absolutely phenomenal and everything. But let's go back to the beginning. So how did you actually get into the business?
Well, I started in the music business. I used to work with up and coming artists from Queens, New York. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
And I was doing that for a while. And when you work with artists from in the city, a lot of them, you know, especially if you did the work on yourself, a lot of
Hmm.
them projecting they paying. So I was doing it for a while, but it wasn't going as planned because when you're a manager and you have the artists, if they decide to stop, your career stops.
Mm.
So I did that for a while, and I realized to myself, Answer, I'm not happy because every time I have an artist, I take them somewhere big, they either get locked up, they get in trouble with the law, a lot of in the industry type of stuff they're going through. So I said, I don't want to quit. What could I do? So I started doing music videos. I did music videos for a while, and then once again, I didn't feel fulfilled because when you deal with the hip hop artists, a lot of times it's limited. So I asked myself, either I want to quit or reinvent myself. So I decided to reinvent myself. Did my first short film called Swift Decision. It's actually the short film version of the Lola franchise. And I fell in love because I'm the artist. I know I'm gonna wake up in the morning. I'm not going to jail. I don't have no problems. So that was the thing. And I tell people all the times, man, like you gotta reinvent yourself or you gotta quit. So I decided I didn't want to quit. I want to reinvent myself. That's why I started the music business.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back. I had some questions written down, but I want to ask you really quickly. You said that when dealing with these artists, you were limited. In what way were you limited?
So when you live in an environment, and especially in the hood environment,
Hmm.
limitations mean food, money, access. We didn't have that. This is way before we had Instagram and internet, or we could do this. This is the pre MySpace days,
Oh,
and
okay.
that was a limitation. And also, too, mental health wasn't what it is now.
Hmm.
Back then, when someone acting a certain way, we call them crazy, they wilding out. Really, they projecting their pain.
Hmm.
At the time, I was projecting my pain too, so I had to do work on myself, and that was the limitations.
Oh, okay. So you grew up in Jamaica, Queens. So how did that shape you as someone who was in the music business, but also as a filmmaker? Because
Mm,
you had it was pretty rough growing up for you in Jamaica, Queens. So how did that end up shaping you as an artist?
yeah, I think what it did for me was it showed me that pressure either make diamonds or you really going to suffer.
Hmm.
Being homeless, being in special ed, being molested, going through all this trauma growing up, it really put me in a situation that I could be like my friends that's getting locked up, going to jail, or I could turn my pain into purpose. And that's what I did. I turned my pain into purpose. And I realized we can't control how we start, but we can control how we finish.
Right. Right. So you were just talking about the fact that you were in music, and then you transferred to film. Now the impetus for that was the fact that you just weren't music wasn't doing it for you anymore, or
What it was with music was you a manager. So the artists that you have, if they like I had one artist,
Mhm.
he would have blew, but he went to jail for murder.
Mm.
So when that happens, everything stops. That's the cow. When you have an artist, that's the money cow. So if the
Mhm.
money cow stops, then everything stops.
Right.
Managers a dime a dozen, but the artist. So that's why I said I can't be in that situation no more. I can't. I gotta produce my own product. I got to, you look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z was an artist one time, but when he said, listen, I don't like this environment. I got to leave.
Mhm.
Started Rock Nation. Same thing.
Okay. So you did the music, you did the films. So where did the homelessness come in? How did that happen?
So how that happened was, this is a story that happens in the hood a lot. You have the mother. At the time, I didn't understand it, but now I'm old, I understand it.
Mhm.
You have the mother that's looking for love.
Mm.
Brings in the boyfriend that's beating her. She brings in the boyfriend that's not only beating her, but paying the bills.
Mm.
And when the son or the kids get into it with the boyfriend, majority of times that story in the hood, the mother choose the boyfriend over the kids. And that's what happened. One day I came in, they was fighting. I fought the boyfriend, beat him up, and she called the cops on me. And I was like, what? I was like, I want to curse so bad, but I was like, what? So I had to make a decision. If there's no love in your own house, you have to leave. I left. I went on my own. I was always working. I was doing security. I always was working.
Mhm.
But I was in shelter for like a good year and a half. I had to be at the shelter because they had a curfew at like around 6, 7 o'clock. And I did that for a year and a half. A lot of people didn't know that I was homeless. And the good thing I had a job though. Not only I had a job, good thing I don't have a record.
Mm.
So that's how I became homeless. And I did it for a while. I laugh at the story now. I used to stay at the shelter in Manhattan. And one day I woke up, they took my shoes. And I wear a size 13. I'm like, who
Oh.
the hell in the shelter wears size 13? I had to walk all the way to the Model store, but Model was around, and got me a new pair of shoes. But that's how the homeless, happened. Yeah.
Damn. So you're homeless for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining how old were you at that time?
I was in my 20s, like 19, 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you finally get you together? Because I've been doing some research, and you basically you had a mindset shift. So talk about that. So you go from being homeless at 19, 20 years old to where you are now. Now, and I know that that's a very broad question, and it encompasses a lot.
It was actually easy.
Okay.
So when you see your family broken, when you see your friends going to jail or getting murdered, when you see your friends being the number one baby daddy of the block, you ask yourself, do you want a better life?
Mhm.
And looking at people like Tyler Perry, 50 Cent from my neighborhood, those people like, wait a minute, let me look at those. I call them virtual mentors. I don't know them, but they could be a virtual mentor. Let me look at their life. And I decided I want better. So the first steps I did was, I used to be an atheist. I don't think I ever said this before, not in public. I used to be an atheist.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was 19, around 20, I was figuring myself out. I was on Jamaica Avenue. And this when like the white gold was popular around then. And me and my friend got robbed on Jamaica Avenue with a guy with gunpoint. And I was nervous. And the guy said, don't run. I start running. He started pulling the trigger, but I didn't feel nothing, the gun jam.
Mm.
So me and my friend jumped the guy, took the gun back. And we looked at the gun, it was like, this is a brand new gun. And I went home and it kept bothering me. How the gun jam? That's the first time I prayed. The first time I ever prayed, when I was like, please God, don't. First time I ever prayed. And that's the first thing I start my faith and foundation. So I'm not Christian, or I just believe in a higher power.
Okay.
So that's the first thought, the faith and foundation. I said, okay, maybe this, and I thought, and someone, I think my ex-girlfriend bought me this, The Secret, the book, The Secret. You ever heard of The Secret?
Yes. I've
The
read that.
Secret really helped me because it shows me we need to reprogram our mind. Once I learned about The Secret, faith, and reprogramming your mind, and then looking at the 50 cents, the Tyler Perry's, the Jay-Z's, like, wait a minute, that was the foundation. So I started putting myself into boxing. I did modeling. I did wrestling for a little bit. I did a lot of things just to figure things out. And I tell people all the times, you want something that makes you yours and find something, fall in love with something.
Mhm.
I remember when I was falling in love with those girls that I thought was love, I was doing everything. Fall in love with something. And those are the foundations that taught me, Antoine, reprogram, get knowledge, learn. You hear me?
Yeah, hold on for a second. For some reason, oh wow, yeah, my screen went black for a second, but you're there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's basically how it started: is reprogramming, finding faith, and knowing what's important. So that's how it started, and that's the foundation of how I got here, was getting better and better. Also, do the work on yourself.
Hmm.
And the number one thing is accountability. I think a lot of times we point the fingers at everybody, or we look in the mirror and be like, "Well, I'm not here yet. What are you doing?"
Hmm.
That's a tough question I had myself. Antoine, you can't expect all the results being a man, but you acting like a boy.
Hmm.
So I had to do a lot of self-checking to myself, and that's how I got here, reprogramming.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I tell people. If you're going to be successful at anything, and success is relative, the one thing that you have to do is own your own shit. You can't look at outside and says, well, they're not fill in the blank. As you just said, well, what am I not doing, or what could I be doing better? Because I found in my travels that there's always something that you can do a little bit better. And I, in my opinion, that really separates, people like you from people that are still trying to figure out where they are. You've actually figured out that there's always something I can be doing better, and I'm actually going to go and actually do that. So you end up writing Split Decision. Now, before that, had you ever written a script before, or was that your first foray into writing a script?
That was my first time ever writing a script ever in life. I mean, I wrote little stories for like my music videos.
Mhm.
That was my first time ever writing.
Wow. So when did you come up with the concept for Split Decision? Where did you come up with the concept for that?
I'm a big fan of Rocky, and I sat back and said, Anton, what is a movie that can make you stand out? I could do the hood movies all day, got come from
Mhm.
that, but what can make you stand out? And I said, I'm gonna do my female version of Rocky, and it's never been done before. It still haven't been done before. I'm the first filmmaker with a women's boxing franchise. So the idea came from the Rocky franchise. I said, we would like to have a woman version of Rocky franchise. So at
Mhm.
the time, I had the money to do the franchise, so I did a short film version. That's another thing. I tell people a lot of times, we want to start off big, do the baby steps. Use your pebbles to build your castle. And that's how the idea came about.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's what people. I, it always amazes me how. But I'm guilty of this. When I first started in this business, I said, "Oh yeah, within 2 years, I'm gonna be walking the red carpet in
Yeah, me
Hollywood." Blah blah
too.
blah blah.
Yeah.
Not understanding how this thing works. Now, 19 years in, I'm finally getting some traction. But the one pebble was 19 years ago, walking into somebody's modeling agency. And I think a lot of times, people just don't get that. So you do Split Decision, it wins multiple awards. So when did you decide to turn this into a feature film?
So at the time, I didn't have the money. So what I did was, that's why I met you. Most filmmakers, they do this short film and do another short film, do another short film.
Mhm.
Once I won that first award for my short film, and I
Mhm.
got my first trip to LA, I said, "Oh, I was feeling myself." I did a feature called "Life Too Short." So my first feature was "Life Too Short." That's why I made
Okay.
that, and that
Wow.
feature film won like 30 awards, and it gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of boost. I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, I see this." And then from there, I did "Life Too Short." I did like 15 more shorts, and then I didn't do I didn't do the Lola franchise until what year was COVID.
2020.
So I did around. I started the process around 2021. I was ready.
So
I was mentally, physical ready after having all the projects under me.
so you did Split Decision, and then your next film is Life's Too Short,
Feature, yep.
with no real filmmaking or screenwriting experience. So how did you build your team? If
Mhm.
I mean, you had the music experience, but how did you build your film team?
So I back then we had Craigslist,
Okay.
but the reason why I was able to do so much, I came from the music business. The music business, if a big record label say we don't want you, that's fine. We make our own
Mhm.
label. And the film business is different. Film business, everybody waits. Everybody's afraid. They wait for a seat at the table. So I'm coming in with a different culture and mindset. I'm using my short films as my mixtapes,
Mhm.
using my feature films as my albums. So I'm taking the aggressive music business approach. In the film business, they're fickle. They don't. When I go to LA and talk to people, they'll give me like I'm a unicorn because I already got 25 projects under my belt with no help except my team that I built over the years.
So you now you have a full production company, Antoine Allen Films. So you no longer write. You have staff writers. You have all of that.
Yeah, I realized through the process my strengths and weakness. A lot of times we want to focus on strengths. Focus on your. I mean, a lot of times you want to focus on a weakness. Focus on your strengths.
Right.
So I could write, but I'm not a strong writer.
Right.
I'm an amazing storyteller. So I hire writers to write my story, and then I direct them. That's what.
So I'm sorry. So how do you go through the process of finding writers, because you're the storyteller, they're the writer, but you want that story told a certain way. So how do you or do you give them the outline, let them run with it, and then you take a look at it and then make corrections? How do you do that process?
So I tell them what I want, give them my outline, what I like. They write maybe first, second draft. I take that because I'm directing myself, so I know what I want.
Right.
All I need is a blueprint, and then when I get ready for the production, I work with the actors, make it to my own, and that's it. 'Cause all I need is a bones. So I hire the writer, give them work for hire, do the paperwork, pay them, and then I own the rights. I get story credit, they get writing credit, and that's how most of my films been. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So let's talk about your virtual mentors. I like that. I'm gonna have to start using that because I feel the same way. I tell people all the time that so many of my mentors, I've never met them, but they can still be your mentors if they're teaching you something. I have so many virtual mentors that ain't funny. But let's talk about, in particular, you mentioned, Tyler, Curtis. You also mentioned Jay-Z. And I was watching your interview on Film Courage, and you talked about the fact that they own their own IP, which is something that more people should really be looking to do. So talk about the importance of, following their lead, but more importantly, owning your own IP.
So most filmmakers don't talk about it because that's not what they teach you. Only reason why I say it because I came from the music business. So owning your masters is already programmed in my head. So when I come in the film business and I see all the directors that done tons of films, but they have no ownership. They have to check for the ownership. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I don't want to be a filmmaker that did 400 films and don't own one. So there's a lot of filmmakers that don't own their stuff. So when I see a Tyler Perry, that wait a minute, they realize he's a billionaire not because he's the best filmmaker, because he understands ownership in business. I want some ownership. You don't have to own everything. We want to own something. So that's when the ownership mentality came to my mind. If I never came from the music business, I'd be just like everybody else, just doing films because who teaches you about ownership? No one teach you that. If it was for Tyler Perry, we wouldn't know anything. So that's where it came from. To have some ownership, have something you could pass down, own some stuff. When you become a director, you're gonna get a lot of studio films, but you can own some stuff too. So I tell people, own something you could pass down. So you're not just relying, but most filmmakers don't think about that. Most filmmakers are the artists. I'm more business. And that's what got me where I'm at. It's not because I'm the best filmmaker in the world. It's because I have a business mentality. I didn't come in here being like, I want to be the best filmmaker. I came in like, yes, own something. Yes, treat the film business like a t-shirt company. It's just a product. So that's why I'm able to be so successful is because my business mindset. When you're an artist, it blocks you. That's why most artists, if you look at them, they broke later on. They're not thinking about others. They're not thinking about all this stuff. So that's what makes me special is I understand the business.
Yeah, and you know what? That's very profound because when I'm out speaking to filmmakers, if I'm in a room, one of the first things out my mouth is a question, and I ask, how many business owners do I have in the room? And you got all these artists, and they're sitting there looking at it, and no one raises their hand. I said, let me ask you again, how many business owners do I have? And they're looking like, what are you getting at? And then I'll say, okay, so how many filmmakers and artists do I have? And everybody raises their hand. And I'm saying to myself, so are you not making a product, which is your film? So why would you not consider yourself a business person? And like you said, I think so many of them miss out on that aspect of the business, and they don't end up licensing any of their IP. So have you actually looked into that as of yet, as opposed to doing a distribution deal, licensing?
So that's what none of that makes me special. When I talk and do the workshops, I have receipts.
Mm,
Most filmmakers don't have receipts. So Lola, I own the franchise. So when I brought the investors in, the investors get their money back, but I own everything. Now Lola 2 is a little bit different. Lola 2, I did a partnership with my partner Monica Floyd, so we have ownership, half ownership. But when I do like it's licensing deals, like right now, watch Lola 2 right now on Black streaming service. That was a licensed deal. They don't own
mhm.
it. So when that contract is up, the film goes back to me. But like once again, 90% of filmmakers don't know about this talk because you're not taught this. You're not taught this in film school. You're not taught this in nothing. So when I do teach and mentor filmmakers, I'm teaching them the business side of it. So
Mhm.
that's what makes me special, is the business side. And the reality is, most filmmakers that make it to a certain level, they don't come back and teach you the business. So I'm actually building a film academy that probably be up and running within 3 to 4 years.
Oh,
I'm
that's
building a film
beautiful.
academy because that's what don't teach you in film. So film school teach you to be the best artist, not to live off to be a business person. So yeah, a
Right.
lot of my films we do license deals. Some they own, some I do license deals with. With Lola
Oh,
franchise, I own it. Everything's licensed deal.
oh, that's beautiful. So to the lay person that's watching this, explain the difference, because you broke it down, but I want you to break it down even a little further for them. The difference between licensing and distribution. Just,
Well, actually, it's the same thing. So you have two options. When you write this idea, the script, it could be a feature film, it could be a series. Whoever's putting up all the money, gonna own it, unless you work out a negotiation deal. So in my case, yes, use Lola because Lola's the current film.
mhm,
When I did Lola 1 was hard for me to get funding with most stuff. So I maxed up some credit cards, took some loans out, got some friends and family, and funded it myself. Everybody got paid back, but I own everything.
mhm,
So once you own it, you have two options. You go to the distribution company, an aggregator. Those are middle people that can get you to the iTunes or Hulu's, the BTs, whatever. They don't own anything. All they're doing is licensing your content. So whoever puts up all the money, most likely going to own the film. Now you have some situations that a person will own it, but an investor will come in and say, "Hey, I'm putting up $200 for your film. I just want percentage." It's all about we negotiate.
mhm.
On my term is if you invest in, it depends how much you invest in. That's on ownership. But I need some ownership. Some artists don't care. But like I said, every deal is different. It's all about you negotiate. So in my case, I got the investor. I invest the money. I own everything. I own half. And then I go to a distributor. So the distributor I used for Lola 1 was a great company called Homestead Entertainment.
Mhm.
Homestead is a great company I used. We did business with Lola 1. They put it on Tubi, mostly on Tubi because Tubi you make the most money.
Mhm.
Amazon Prime, you make no money. So all the filmmakers that's watching this, if you put your film on Amazon, you're not gonna make no money. And also too, you got to market. That's another thing we forget. You have to market your projects. You have to put marketing budget in your budget. A lot of times we just post here and there. If you look at my strategy, I'm on TV. I sent you a Fox TV. I got a PR. I go all out because it's the brand. But once again, I have this knowledge. So when you have a film, two options. Once again, whoever funded it is going to own it. And if you put up some money, put in negotiation, you license it. Licenses is, for example, Lola 2 right now is exclusive license to All Black Network.
Mhm.
3 years. Once that 3 years up, it's go back to me. So it basically comes now. If you just wrote the script, you have no money. And that's how I come and produce it. I'm gonna own the whole thing. I might give you a pay for your writing or directing, but I'm gonna own the whole thing. So whoever put up the most money, majority of times they're gonna own it, unless you negotiate some situation. So in my deals, I make sure I have some ownership. Unless I have something they put up all the money, then they could have it. I have tons of projects. Yeah.
Wow, wow. So you touched on something that I want to talk about, marketing and branding. That seems to be a major part of your business strategy. So again, to the laypersons that may be watching this, or someone that's new to this business, why is the marketing and the branding so important to the life of your film?
Because right now, there's tons of films out there. You have to do brand awareness. The reason why, when I see those kids on TikTok and Instagram making all that money on ads, they figure out marketing. It's kids I know right now that retiring their mother and they only 28. Forget. So when y'all see those TikTok people doing those dances and doing all this stuff, and you look at the Forbes list, you're like, how are they doing this? They marketing and promotion. Everything's a brand now, because back in the day, the only time you get to see something is on regular TV and a billboard. Now that doesn't do anything anymore. So now that's why they hire those influencers, because those eyeballs is at. You got this kid that's doing 1 million views. Like, how they? So that's the difference. So when you see me doing an interview, you might see my shirt all the time, Lola 2. That's branded. That's marketing. So while you watching the interview for an hour, you're going to be like, where's Lola 2? Lola 2 is on all black right now. So we market daily, but for some reason we don't market ourselves. Sometimes when I do my workshops, I tell my filmmakers, pull up your Facebook, pull up your Instagram. Let me see the last 10 posts. And if the last 10 posts about baby showers, Beyonce tickets, you're marketing or everybody else except yourself. And they don't even realize it. Because in the film business, the reason why, because a lot of times we could point fingers. Why they're not doing this? The film industry don't teach you this. They don't teach you about marketing and brand. They don't teach none of this stuff. So sometimes when I'm speaking to somebody, it's like a foreign language, because that's not what they taught. They taught about the red camera, the Aura camera, the best software. They teach you that. They're not teaching about marketing. And that's the thing we got to learn, because our other counterparts could do the bare minimum. We can't.
Yeah, and that's so true. You know, I don't know if you know Cheryl Bedford, but she says all the time, it's show business, and there's a reason that business. She's phenomenal, but she says there's a reason the word business is bigger than the word show. And again, and you know, you're so right. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be creative, but what do you do with the product once it's created? And I think a lot of creatives miss that point. They miss that caveat that yes, you're a creative, but you're actually creating a product that is going to market. And what I point to a lot of times is, look what happens when you go to a movie theater and you're sitting in the theater waiting for your film to start, and they start showing all these trailers. Basically, they're getting the consumer ready to purchase a product that's going to be out in the future. You understand what I'm saying? So you're so right when you talk about marketing and branding being such a big part. And if it wasn't a big part, print and advertising wouldn't be such a major portion of a major motion picture's budget if it wasn't important. But let's talk about Lola 2. So you did Lola 1, had a good friend of mine in it, Nakia Dillard, phenomenal brother. And then you do Lola 2, and I see some phenomenal names in that film. I can't wait to see it. So how did you go about casting, and you know, what made you decide to do Lola 2? And is there a Lola 3 in the works? Because you said it's a franchise.
Yeah, so Lola was always going to be a franchise. I was trying to get people to help me. I was trying to go to studios. Everybody said no because they didn't see the picture. I actually had a situation. I talk about it on some other interviews, that when I did Lola 1, I had an investor that wanted to put up a lot of money for Lola 1, but the only stipulation was they wanted a licensed complexion to play the lead. And I was like, why they gotta be licensed? Oh, Antoine, you know, it's a marketing. What they basically were saying in terms is they want someone to appeal to a Caucasian audience. Like I said, that's fine. I didn't take it personal. That's another thing in this business. Take nothing personal. Because at the end of the day, they just doing what they programmed to do. So I said, I want someone to look like me. So I did my casting call. I got this beautiful, amazing actress, Taja V. Simpson, that you can see on the top of every hit show, The Oval. And I cast her for Lola 1. And I just got my resources together, and we did Lola 1. Lola 1 did so well because the pandemic. It came out during COVID, so everybody was home. And I was one of the few filmmakers that had a finished product. It was new. So everybody went on Tubi and watched it. So I built the buzz up. And then for Lola 2, same situation. I could get somebody to help me. That's fine, because I think the main reason was it was a woman demographic situation. So this is another key thing you do. When you're looking for investors, if you know you have a woman type of demographic, don't go to men, because most men don't want to see that. So I went to an amazing woman producer that I met on Clubhouse named Monica Floyd, and she seen the vision. I knew she had 2 chocolate daughters, beautiful daughters that could relate. So that's another thing. When you picture people, picture their interests. You might get a no, but that no might be a less no if you pitch into your interests.
Mhm.
So I met her on Clubhouse. We started talking. I told her what I'm doing, and we started filming. We actually filmed the movie during COVID. So I put my resources. She got her resources, and we made this beautiful film.
Okay, wow. So if you don't mind my asking, I'm not going to ask you, what the film, how much you made it for, but how many investors did you end up having overall?
So Monica was the main investor.
Okay.
The film was under $500,000. And I brought in other investors to take care of other stuff. But Monica was the main investor. She put majority of the money, and then I got extra money for the marketing for certain things to bring them in. But yeah, it was we put our resources. So Monica, she's very resources. I wanted Roy Jones to be in the film. Roy Jones is one of my favorite boxers. She made a phone call. He flew from Russia. He flew from Russia to come to Atlanta to be in the movie. So Roy Jones is actually in the movie too. So yes, that's another thing too. Align with the right people that can make your dream come true. There's only so much you can do by yourself.
Talk about that. I wanted to ask you something else, but man, you know what? You just brought up something. Talk about that. Aligning yourself with the right people, and then having the right people in your circle, because you talked about vision and the fact that the main vision is yours, but you then have to go out and find people that say, you know what, Antoine, I can't see it in its entirety, but you believe in it so much, I'm gonna get down with you. So talk about, you know, the type of people that you need to have surrounding you in order to get something like a Lola 2 done.
You got to start the fire first. You can't expect people to invest in you if you don't invest in yourself. So a lot of my success when it comes to getting helping is because I'm starting the fire first.
Mhm.
And then the reality is, it's okay if people don't see your vision because it's your vision.
Mhm.
That's something I had to learn. I used to get mad. Why you don't see my vision? It's amazing that I realized, Antoine, it's your vision. God gave you this vision. It's not up to them. If they come on, they don't come on. Eventually, they're going to come on. I remember when I was pitching Lola and everybody was saying no. Now, I realize sometimes that no is a no for right now. They want to see how, a lot of times, the reality is people want to hop on a bandwagon. They don't have the vision. They want to see it first. Oh, you doing it? Oh, this actually got done? They don't want, like, you know how many people right now hopping on the bandwagon because it's Lola 2? But it's fine. I take it personal. Because in the beginning, yes, I took it really personal.
Mhm.
Now I realize, Antoine, it's okay. They just didn't see the vision. It's fine. It's your vision. That's it. But that's what it is. You got to find people that actually can hop on board. And sometimes it's people that you might not even like. It's okay. If they can get the job done, it's fine. Sometimes people in your life just for the season. They're not there to be there forever.
Yeah, and this is a business, and that is something that I had to learn. I had to learn the other thing too about the fact that, well, and I used to complain to my wife about this, and I'm sure you can attest to this. You know, your wife, who's a good listener, I'm more than sure, and you're talking to her, and I'm complaining, and my wife's looking at me like, "But it's your thing. Why are you mad? Because they don't see it."
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
don't.
like, but like yourself, I'm like, but it's so this, it's so that, and she would say again, that's your thing. And Ed Milet said something very interesting. I just read his book, The Power of One More, and he said, other people don't have to see your vision. They just have to believe that you believe your vision. And if you're convincing enough to believe your vision, they'll be like, wow, Antoine believes it so much. I have no choice but to get on board with it.
We bought this 14 times. The iPhone. We bought the same phone for 14 times. People, you gotta realize most people are consumers. If they see something more than once, they're gonna jump in it.
Mhm.
So once I realized that, Antoine, you selling yourself. Most people don't see vision. They don't see it. Especially if you come to your people, they
Mhm.
don't see anything. So you have to learn. Okay, if you get 100 no's, because this is the only industry I know that you get 100 no's. The film business, the music business was not like this. This industry, you get so many no's, it's not even funny. So I had to realize, Antoine, start the fire first. Start the fire first. You don't get your 100 no's, but it's fine. All you need is that one yes.
Yeah. And the one yes can be the
Could
yes.
cover all the 100 no's.
Yeah.
Only two, I got a lot of no's. A lot of no's. It took that one yes to get where I'm at now. So that's why I said, but don't get me wrong. I was mad at the whole process. I'm human. I feel things. But once you get past it and realize, Antoine, remember when you was homeless? Remember when you was in special ed? Look at you now. So it pays off.
So let's talk about that really quickly. Because I really want people to understand what you just said. You were upset going through the entire process, but you didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
You kept going, and I remember you saying something again on the Film Courage interview about betting on yourself. So talk about that, because again, it takes a special mindset when you hear 100 people tell you no, and you're like, okay. And then you ask the 101st person for the exact same thing when you just heard 100 no's. So talk about the mindset and the fact that you bet on yourself because you know that this is something that you're good at doing.
It's hard. It's an emotional roller coaster. So I go back to my virtual mentors, like a 50 Cent. This man been shot. They murdered his mother. He got blackballed. And now he's one of the top film producers in this industry. I'm like, wait a minute. Tyler Perry was homeless and he got molested. I got molested before. So when you see those stories, I didn't go do none of that. I didn't get shot. I ain't gonna do none of that stuff. I'm like, okay, I get this. This is for special people. That's why we have 1% people. This is not for everybody. When people give up, I understand. This is an emotional roller coaster. This is not for the weak. So I had to go through all that to understand that. And when it comes down to it, comes down to your faith. I'll be seeing filmmakers. They're like, Antoine, how are you doing this? I'm not stopping. Because I know when I used to work in corporate, I worked in corporate before. I got my 6 figures. I got my 401k. I got my insurance. I know when I hit 65, I retire and die. That's guaranteed. And nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. If you want something more, you come on this side. This is the side that if you say you believe in a higher power, you want to get tested, your faith, this make you test your faith. This makes you test why you even alive. This is not for the so I understand why people quit. I get everything. Before I used to be really judgmental, but then I said, Antoine, it's not for everybody. That's why there's only 150, only one Jay-Z, only one Oprah Winfrey, only one Issa Rae, only one Jennifer Lopez. Like, this is not for the weak. And this is why I tell people, if you know you can't be that person, work with someone that's gonna be that person. If you can't beat them, join them. That's what I learned. You look at Jay-Z people, they're all doing great. You don't know half of them who they are. Mm-hmm. So that's what I learned. Because we have to look in the mirror and know that, listen, I can't. Like me, I know that I'm not this amazing writer. I know I can't sit down and write 100 pages. So I'm going to hire those people that's better than me, be part of the team.
Yeah.
But it's all about, really asking those tough questions about yourself. And then I think about the people in jail. I love watching the cartel shows. Mm-hmm. Those guys are putting their freedom up every day, doing cocaine, selling drugs. We are free, but we trapped in our mind. Mm-hmm. There's people out here not doing what they want to do, not because they can't, because mentally they can't. Their mind's stopping them. So I look at those people that actually risking their life, going to Colombia, doing all this drug stuff. I watch all those crazy shows. I'm like, wait a minute. If they could live their life on a run for years, I'm free. What's 5-10 years of just going after my dreams? That's the reprogramming. That's putting these perspectives. I have a partner named Eugene Walker. I remember he was like, Antoine, this is too hard. I'm like, Eugene, you worked in Rikers Island for 25 years. What are you talking about? I blew his mind. He was like, yo, no one never even said it to me like that. Because as humans, we're so programmed to give our life up for everybody else, but we don't got ourselves.
And you know what? That's so true. And that's interesting. Because people, and it's this gentleman that I follow, Nehemiah Davis, he talks about this a lot. People will get up, and there's nothing wrong with this, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been doing it for 30 years. People will get up and work a job and give the best years of their life to someone else. But when it comes to their dream, they will tell themselves why they can't do it 50 million times.
Yeah, that was me.
And it's just amazing. Like you said, it's not a physical prison. It's a mental prison.
Yeah, that was
Because
me.
and it's so many talented people out there with something that they could share with the world. And just let me share a little something with everyone, and then we're going to get back to Antoine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with working the 9 to 5, because like I said, I've been doing it for 30 years. I retire next year, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't leaving my job because the bennies was good and the money was good. So, and plus I had a family, and I had things I had to do. I had obligations. There's absolutely nothing wrong with working your 9 to 5 so you work your 5 to 9. Someone told me that one time. So if you want to work that 9 to 5 in order to work your 5 to 9, then do it. But to not share your gift with the world is tantamount to a sin, because you were given that gift specifically for you. So enough of that.
I have
Please.
another virtual mentor. I want you to watch this video on YouTube. It's with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey Jump.
Man, that
I
thing
was
is
sitting at my
powerful.
job, and someone sent me that video, or maybe I came across it. I can't wait to meet him. He articulate how to get out of my job. I was working in corporate. I was working in a hotel. I was doing security for years. I was doing a ton of stuff. And I was like, I need to get out, but I don't know how to do it, because it's not the money. You got all the money in the world. It's the mental how to do this.
Right.
In the jump video, the way he explained jump, to go after your dream, hit me so hard. That was one of the also things that helped me leave my 9 to 5 job, because I was like, Antoine, you have no record. You can always go back to work, but just take 1 year and better yourself. That 1 year I bettered myself. There was so many things that happened to me that I was like, wow. Because this is another thing I left out. This whole journey, I was working a regular job. I just gave up my regular job 2 years before COVID. I realized, Antoine, you were doing all this stuff. You wasn't even making a dent. So work smarter, not harder. I kept my regular job. That job helped me get loans, pay for my films, took my 401k out. So a lot of times I feel like I need to be free. Nobody wants you. No one's calling your email. No one's buzzing you. Stop. Get out that mindset. So I actually use my regular job to help me get where I'm at. I just gave up my job 2-3 years ago during COVID, before COVID. So I always had a job. So I tell people, have a job and a dream.
Yeah. And, the award show that you came to, my job helped fund that.
Yeah.
So, it's nothing wrong with working and honest living until, what does Oprah say? Oprah says, do what you have to until you can do what you want to.
Yeah.
And, for some, and then, you know what? Some people don't want to be that full-time entrepreneur. They're fine, basically having a hybrid type of situation where they have a job and then they have, their other things. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I really want people to understand that, because sometimes you'll see these entrepreneurs, yo, I'm in this grind, blah, 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 blah. Lead job player. I have a mortgage. I have a car note. I got kids in private school. So
yeah, this is, like I said, I tell people all the times, it's not for everybody. But if you decided that, wait a minute, I want to do something for myself, I felt like this job is not where I'm at. Jump. You can always go back. You would get a job. That's what I realized. I could always go back. I have no record. I could always go back. But I said, let me try. If I could give a job, I'm 42 right now. If I could get a job 25 years of my life, what about doing 2 years for myself?
Bingo. So what's next on the horizon? So Lola 2, well, let's talk about the premiere really quickly, because you did the premiere in Los Angeles.
In Atlanta. Yep.
Oh, you did it in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. You did it in Los Angeles and Atlanta?
Yep. Same week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I did 2 premieres. So Lola 2 is out right now on All Black. It came out on my birthday, April 6th. I did a lot of press for it. I sent you the link to watch it. And then I did a premiere in LA.
Wait a minute. Back up. Stop. You sent me the link to watch Lola too?
Yeah, it's in the email I sent you. Yep. I just sent it. Yep. I sent it last night, I think.
Because I'm saying to myself, hold up now. I did not get, well, you know what? I'm on the interview right now. I'll look at that later. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, bet. I'm gonna have to watch that.
I sent you, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I sent you last night, like around 6:44.
Okay, you know what? To the, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. To which email? The TAE or the Philly Film Awards email?
TAE.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna look at it once we're okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, back to the show.
Yes, the link to watch it is on All Black, and I also sent you the interview that I did on Fox News. So I did a whole press run on it. I'm also going to see the premieres I did. So I did a premiere in LA, and then I did a premiere in Atlanta, Georgia. It was amazing. A lot of people came out, a lot of stars came out, and it was amazing. This is my first network deal. I never did a network deal before, so it was really, really dope. So Lola 2's out. Came on my birthday, April 6th, and you can watch it. And then next for me is I got a few Christmas movies coming out this year.
Beautiful.
Lola 3, we're doing that next year. Yeah, we got a lot of projects coming out, man.
Okay, so did you work closely with Nikki Love at All Black to get this thing done?
So Nikki Love is amazing, but I work with Brett.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett, me and Brett, and my other partner, Rob Johnson from Homestead, we got the deal together. But yeah, All Black has been amazing. Right now, I don't have cable, but I see the commercials going on WeTV. People sending me the commercials on WeTV about it. And actually, if you go on All Black now, I don't know if it's still there, but right now, Lola 1 and Lola 2 is the most popular movies on the streaming.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So can you give us the titles of the Christmas movies, or are they still in development?
So they still in development, but I have one that's coming out called Love for the Holidays that I did with a partner with Jacinth Headlam. You know Jacinth is.
Oh yeah, Jacinth. Oh, I love Jacinth.
So we have that coming out this year. We have Malik Yorbert in it.
Okay.
We have Trina, the hip hop artist, in it. We have Paul Campbell, legend Jamaican artist, is in it. We had Jeremy Meeks in it. We have a few stars in it. We had who else is in this film? Terrell Hicks,
nice.
From Belly and Bronx Tale. So yeah. So right now, where I'm at now, films went up, upgrade, a lot of names in it, the networks. So we're doing really good.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So where can people find you, and where can they follow you on social media, and how can they support?
Well, you can go to my website, AntoineAllenFilms.com, official website, everything's there, news and everything. And support, just hit me up, whatever y'all guys want to do. I'm always looking for investors for movies. So, but yeah, everything's going good. But definitely go to All Black streaming service and watch Lola 2 and Lola 1 on the streaming app.
Okay. So any last words of advice rather, for anyone deciding that this is something that they want to do?
I think the first thing is to ask yourself, what do you really want in this life, in this business? I had to ask yourself that question. Antoine, what do you really want? Like, not the money, not the houses. What do your life want to be? And once you ask those questions, then start doing the research on whatever you want to do. And the second thing is, after that, sacrifice and do the work. If you want to be a barber, a filmmaker, a writer, put yourself in the best position so you have better options. A lot of times we don't realize that we're doing the bare minimum and we give ourselves the lottery dream. So I would love to just be a director, but I direct, I write, I produce, I do interviews, I mentor, I do all this stuff because I realize being a one-trick pony is not enough. You gotta do more. You gotta do more for yourself. And when you don't have the resources, reach out to people. I have people reach out to me. Like Londi. I met Londi on Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I said, when you meet people and y'all spirits align and y'all about your business, I know people that have been friends with their friends and producers within the 10, 20 years they've been together. They probably did no projects or one project. I met Londi on Clubhouse. We already did 4 feature films together. Wow. I just met her a year and a half ago.
Wow.
So I tell a lot of times, if everybody says work together. The problem, a lot of people, they don't want to really work together. It's like conversation. It's like you with someone. It's like good conversation. So Londi, like, she's a blessing. Because I've been really asking God for another partner because I'm growing and I need people that know way more than me. And yeah, we just started 4 projects.
That's beautiful. Well, you have a new follower on LinkedIn. Someone just commented, Michael Tire Films. He loves the commentary, so he just started following you. So maybe that Michael Tire Films, Michael Tyre Films.
Thank you, Michael. Yep.
So Mike, make sure you reach out because Antoine is an absolutely phenomenal brother. But yeah, Londi, I met Londi on Clubhouse. And met her for the first time in person last year when I went out to the Micho Film Festival. I'm actually flying out there in July. I'm flying back, and yeah, she's amazing. But before we go, you said something that's really interesting. How people talk the talk but don't walk the walk. As far as I want to work with you, and they'll say that, and you're like, okay, well, let's go, and then 50 million excuses pop up.
And I guess I get it. I get it because, like I said, this is not for everybody, man. Like, since I've been in this industry, the stuff I went through, this is not for everybody. I see why people quit. But this is the thing you gotta ask yourself. When 10, 20 years go past and you like, damn, my life ain't the way it is. You have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what have you done? And if the stuff you've done is the bare minimum, then you get what you put in. And then, like I said, life ain't fair. I know filmmakers personally that they know way more than me. They know the lens. They know all this way more than me. And they look at me like, how are you doing this? What is it he have? I'll tell you a story real quick. I have a filmmaker I know. And he said to someone, Antoine don't even know how his lenses like that. He don't even know his cameras like that. How he doing? How he get this deal? And I said that, I told him to tell him that life ain't fair. It's someone right now looking at 50 Cent. 50 Cent, how's he a film producer? He don't even know nothing. But 50 Cent got 20-something shows on networks, and he about to do something special that people don't know about that's about to come out soon. But it's because life ain't fair. And the difference between 50 Cent, me, Tyler Perry, Jay-Z, you're looking at us like, how are they doing this? They didn't go to film school. They have no degree. We are amazing at execution. And we're not artists. And we're not in our own way. And that's the key. Get out your own way.
Absolutely. And you know what? To add on to you not knowing the lens, well, that's why you end up hiring people who do.
Yeah.
Because you know what? As you said, know your strengths and your weaknesses. Because when I built my team, there are certain things, Antoine, that I know that I cannot do. And I don't even try. That is a lane that I do not occupy. But guess what? I hire that out to the people who actually know what they're doing. Now, of course, you have to check with me to make the final decision. But if you know what you're doing, perfect example before we go. You've been to my award shows. I didn't do all of that. I had an entire team. And Angelique was the one that basically mapped out the entire show. Once we get to a certain point, I would turn it over because I'm like, that's not what I do. So that person says, well, he doesn't know lenses. Player, I ain't got no lenses, but I'm gonna hire somebody that does. But that's the separation between somebody that approaches this from a business mindset as opposed to a creative mindset. I ain't got no lenses, but I have business savvy to say, let me go out and find a guy that knows lenses the best. Who is that?
Yeah, like I said, life ain't fair, guys. As you know, life ain't fair. It's people saying things. Listen, life ain't fair.
No, it ain't. If it was fair, I'd have hit the Powerball. So it is what it is.
So I just tell everybody, we could all have our version. We just got to work for it.
Absolutely. But Antoine, this was absolutely amazing. We can't go this long without talking, but I know you're an extremely busy man. But actually, since I have you, I'm actually doing a panel on a podcast on the 25th of May if you're available, because as you all know, the WGA strike is going on right now, and one of the main things that they're talking about is Chat GPT and the effects that it's going to have on the industry as a whole. So you're welcome to.
Okay, what is Chat GPT?
Oh, wow. Chat GPT is basically, for layman's term, is like a search engine on steroids. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to come up with a new title for Lola because you were like, you know what, Lola's great, but I want something that's going like bam, people gonna be like, yo, that's crazy. So then you would enter into Chat GPT. Tell me about 5 titles that would enhance the title Lola 2. And it starts spitting out all of this stuff. It starts spitting out okay, well, you could go this, you could do that, or
AI
let's say it again.
It was basically AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. And one of the things that the WGA is fighting with right now is the fact that a lot of the streaming services really want to involve Chat GPT in the script writing process or the screenwriting process, because you could put in to Chat GPT, write me a full-length script on crazy dinosaurs in a mall, and it'll spit you out a script.
Listen, I got AI app, and it's amazing. Listen, let me tell everybody about this AI stuff and this writer's strike. This was bound going to happen. For independent filmmakers, this is really perfect for us. All this stuff that's going on, like COVID was horrible, but it was a blessing too. This strike, all this stuff is just helping the independent filmmakers. It's just helping us more because for years, for centuries, we've been getting crumbs. So this is the destroy and rebuild. All this stuff is going to happen, guys. Like it's sad, but this is what's going to happen. Right now, the director and the producer union contracts are coming up. There might be another strike for that too. So, guys, just continue doing your stuff. I look at a lot of writers out there striking, but I would love to. I wish this energy was the same energy when we look at those shows and we have no Black writers' rooms. Look at those stats.
So,
look at that. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, look at those stats.
Okay.
While you're out there writing and striking together, look at those stats.
Yeah. All right. Well, brother, I'm extending the invitations May 25th on the podcast. You are more than welcome to join us, because we're gonna have some phenomenal people. I don't know if you know Craig Williams. He's the founder of Redwall Pro Productions, and Darian Donju. He's out in Atlanta. Phenomenal filmmaker that's heavy into third engine, Chat GPT, AI. So yeah, I'll definitely send that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining myself and the amazing Antoine Allen from Antoine Allen Films. And please go check out Lola on Tubi. Please check it out. And then also, if you have All Black, make sure you watch Lola 2. And if you're not following him, please follow him on all social media platforms, because this brother is very talented and he is definitely on the rise. But before we go, I just want to make a really quick announcement. It has been brought to my attention a few weeks ago that A Conversation With is ranked number 4 internationally as one of the best podcasts to listen to in 2023 by FeedSpot. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of the listeners that have tuned in over the last few years, and a big shout out and a big thank you to each and every guest that I've had on this program, because you don't get to become one of the best podcasts in the independent film space without having people such as Antoine Allen on the program. So we're number 4 internationally. We're number 2 in the United States, independent film podcast to watch. So that's a blessing. And it's just a testament to the people that we have on this show. And with that, Antoine, my brother, it has been absolutely phenomenal talking to you, man. We definitely have to do this again. I will send you an invite for May 25th, and I'm gonna definitely get into Lola too, because I'm definitely excited to see this film. And please, please, please give your regards, well, my regards rather, to your lovely wife.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a phenomenal show. And as I always like to end it, love this like a hobby, but above all else, please treat this like a business. And on that note, everyone, you have a phenomenal night. All right, then. Have a good night. Peace.